right, so good afternoon. Hello, Miss Melissa. I am so excited to have you and thank you for taking the time out to share your experience and talk with me about your experience in the Employee to Designer program. And so I know that you completed the program a couple of weeks ago, and you've done quite a bit in your business and just in your journey. And I would love for you to just kind of share what that's been like. So before we do that, I'm just going to ask you a couple questions and we'll go through and talk about your journey. But before we do that, tell me a little about, or just tell, everyone, share with, if you can share your name and your business and, where you were before you started the Employee to Designer program.
Okay. Ooh, it feels like forever ago already. So my name is Maelisa Coombs. My business is MC Interior Decorating. This journey has been amazing, scary, fun, enlightening, all at the same time. When I started with Monique, it was the initial call, the just discovery call. And I feel like I was working a corporate job in retail. And we talked a long time about the desire to move on and do something for myself and kind of bring that creative mindset to life in a new way and not just in the retail corporate career, doing it for myself. And just the connection that I had with Monique, with you, was just amazing. I felt so like this was the right time for me to start this journey and learn about how to take it from just a thought and a dream and something that's in a journal page into reality. So it's all through probably the better part of a year now, I think it's been, having the time and the coaching moments with you has helped me so much through the journey and all of the modules. It really made it feel a little smoother and attainable to go through the steps with you. So I'm really happy to be at this point now at the end of the program. I feel like sad because I'm not going to be connecting with you as frequently, but I feel proud to have learned all of this from you and hopefully do some justice to, keep your name up there as this amazing coach who helps people create amazing businesses.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for that. And thank you for sharing your journey. And, I have to say, I remember when we first connected and we started working together. And, you talking about how much you enjoyed your job, you love what you did, and you had spent a lot of time, climbing the corporate ladder and getting to the position that you were in. And I think that that's so important for people to know because, you being that, the person that's like a lot of people who are working a job and they love what they do, but they know that there's more to what they're destined to do, and not being afraid and having the courage to step out and explore that. And that was one of the things that stuck out to me about you was that even though you knew you were, comfortable in your job, that there was this force that, you were just like, but I have to explore this. I have to do this. So, and, you come from a family of your father being an architect. So I think that has a lot to do with, when something is your calling and you're supposed to explore it, it's really hard to ignore that. So I wanted to share that because I think that that's a very important part of your journey. And also, I have to say this, and I hope you don't mind me sharing this, but you were one of several students and designers that I've worked with that actually, were able to transition and left their job before they finished the program. And so anytime that happens, I always know that okay, they're going to do something big, because not only does that take courage, but it also takes the ability to exercise and execute what you're learning in the program to get to a level that you're comfortable to say, okay, I'm going to leave my job and I'm going to go for it. I'm going to, burn the boats. I'm going to go all in and I'm going to do it. So I don't think I had a chance to tell you how proud I was of you doing that, because that's a big, big deal. So
yeah, it's a big deal. And it feels a little crazy, but I do agree with everything that you said. It's when you feel led, like there's just that moment and you never really know when it is that you're gonna really do it. Right? Because you spend all this time trying to prepare and, oh, well, I just need to work a few more months and put a few more dollars together. And, you do the math and figure out, okay, how long can I go if I'm not working? And we're naturally pulled to do what's comfortable. And even having left work and now actively trying to build a structure for myself and a schedule and how am I gonna attract people to work with, there's always that little person sitting on this side that's saying, oh yeah, you're doing it, go ahead. And then there's the person over here that's saying, girl, you could just go get a job and it'll be okay. And you could just make the money like you were before. And it's the tug of war that goes on mentally, but you gotta keep going, and it's still scary, but I'm going.
Yeah. I love it. Okay, so tell me a little about what's some specific things that you feel like have happened since you finished the program that you're happy about, that you feel has really helped you in growing your business?
Well, I think things that I'm really happy about from the program is just that business structure. There's so much that goes into creating a business and managing it. It's not just the job part and the action of doing the design and working with people. That part, I feel, for me anyway, comes easy because of what my corporate background and career background in the past, working with people and helping them find, in that case, it was outfitting and fragrance and things that speak to who their personality is. Now I'm asking those same questions, but what does it mean in their home? But creating the structure that you need to make sure that you're able to execute a project from start to finish, and really make that experience smooth for the client, that's like where I needed the most help. Because in corporate jobs, you're given that map, right? And so half of the fear of starting something on your own is you don't have that map. So how do you start and where do you go and how do you feel polished and compete? And, you're always going to look to other services and say, how do I compete with that? But you gave tools that help organize all of those thoughts. And, things that you weren't even thinking of, like the contracts and the white glove service and things. You're like, oh, that's how all of that works. Like that was so valuable to have to just set you up for success as you go and start engaging with the public, and make you more knowledgeable in what the business needs to look like.
Right. Oh, that's so good. Yes, it's like sometimes those things, and I have to remind myself, like, there's things that I've learned from being an interior decorator myself over the years, and, they come second nature to me because I've learned it, I've experienced it. And I have to remind myself that, not everybody knows these things, right. And it could be just the little things or little things in our eyes, but it could be very big things in the grand scheme of things that, will help push your business to the next level. So yeah, I totally agree with you on that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let me just, I want to get your honest opinion on how did you feel while you were doing the program, right? So, it's a 12-week program. And we actually you did the private program. So we were meeting every single week, and I was coaching you, throughout the program. So based on like the content and everything that you learned and your experience, how did you feel while you were doing the program?
Total honesty. While I was doing the program, I felt like, am I her worst student? Like, am I not getting this? Because, the branding part was the part that I felt the most, that I struggled with the most. And I definitely put a lot of pressure on myself because I have that perfectionist mindset. But going through the program, that was the part that I felt like if I didn't figure that out, I wasn't going to be able to move forward very well. So I was grateful for your insights and your thoughts on the branding piece of things and what it means to not try to be everything to everybody. We all initially want your business to work and you don't want to lose out on a customer. But it's like understanding that you are who you are and there's enough customers out there. Having your coaching through the program was the part that really helped me the most. I'm so glad I did the one-on-one coaching, and I would recommend anyone to do that if they can, because there are so many questions that come up. And going through the program, having the ability to look at the modules, go over everything, and then kind of write questions as I go so that I knew, okay, my time with Monique is coming. So I'm going to ask her all these questions because I feel a little lost with this, or it feels a little overwhelming. But it's a lot, it's a lot of information that you're going through. And so trying to be patient with yourself as you're going through it is hard because you're so excited and you're so already looking at the end and wanting to be finished. But then you're going through and it's like, oh my God, I have to go back because that piece is probably not right. And so there's a lot of moments of moving forward, but then taking steps back, because as you're doing it, you're learning as you're going and you're refining as you're going, which sometimes makes you have to go back and revisit something that you did before, because now you know something a little bit better and it gives you a different perspective on where you started. So there's always going forward and then going back for a retweak and going forward again. But it's so valuable to do that up front, because you want to make sure that when you're putting yourself out there, that you feel really good about what you put together in this brand that is a reflection of you. So yeah. It was going through the program, I think, you feel so pumped about having guidance, because there's not a lot of stuff out there to help people try to become an interior decorator, interior designer, and teach them the real business piece of things. So
right.
It was really good to have that with you.
Thank you for that transparency. So many things you said, I could relate, even as a coach and coaching you and others. And I remember, I can say, well, not really remember, but I can tell you that one of the things that I was very intentional about in building the program was that it was built in a systematic order, so that you could have the experience that you just explained very clearly, which is, making sure you don't put the cart before the horse, and that, you figure out who your ideal client is, because you got to do that first before you start building and creating your services, right? Because you got to know who your ideal client is and what do they need, right? You can't create packages and services if you don't know who you're serving, right? So I'm glad to hear that, that was an experience that you had, because that is definitely very intentional with the program. And and it's another reason why, I offer not all programs offer this, but I feel like it's important to offer lifetime access because, you're always growing, right? And you always are going to have to look back or it's good to look back and see, oh, okay, what did I do? Or, why did I do this? Or, so that it can influence future decisions that you might have to make. So I'm glad, thank you for sharing that. I'm glad that, you leverage that. And I remember you sharing, like, especially it's funny you say that the branding and styling module was your favorite module, but also probably the most challenging. And it is because you have to think about all the work that you've done and figure out, okay, how do I tell my story based on the work that I've done and what I've created. And I remember and this is another clue that I knew that I was like, okay, this is going to go on to do big things, because you had come to me and you were like, okay, I've got I think it was 20 slides put together a PowerPoint presentation of how you envision your brand, and you had already done the research, and it was just great. And so great job. That's all I can say. All right, so I got 2 more questions for you. Tell me a little bit about what hesitations maybe that you had before joining the program. Because I feel like, people sometimes just have fears or different hesitations to investing in themselves or getting support or reaching out for help or hiring a coach. So tell me a little about what hesitations you had.
Yeah, my biggest hesitation is that I'm not formally trained to do any of this. And it's still a little bit of a fear in the back, right? That what are your credentials and how long have you been doing this? And you haven't studied any of this. What do you know? That was the biggest hesitation in maybe not so much starting. I mean, starting the program's okay, I did this, but do I need to? And I remember asking you, should I start studying to be certified for this? Or, is there do I have to do one before the other? Do I have to do them both? And that need of validation from a piece of paper that someone somewhere gives you, is my biggest fear and still is. So I've signed up for a program and I'm trying to, absorb that as well. But it was interesting because the first person that I connected with that is not a family member, that I offered services to and went to her house and walked through and I'm going through all of these different opportunities that she can take advantage of in her office space. And she's like, wow, you're really good at this. And in my head, I kind of had you in my head. And then I thought about all the fear of some people just don't have a knack for it. And, if you're there to help offer, suggestions and guidance and consultation and things that doesn't come second nature to them. And I don't have certification. And she found value in what I was able to share with her. So being able to figure out the way that you could add value to someone, whether or not you have a certification, you can share what in your life journey makes you certified to share yourself with this other person. And that's not, that doesn't make you or me or anyone who starts this program and may or may not have been certified, doesn't make that person any less qualified to do it. It just means you're offering a different type of service. And if the person is open for having it, then that's amazing. But don't not do it just because you didn't have the certification.
Yeah. Now that's a big one. And thank you for being honest about that, because a lot of emerging designers feel like that. Oh, I don't have a full, degree in interior design, or, I haven't, had enough projects under my belt. There's so many different things. And it's one of the reasons why in the self and client discovery module, which you probably remember, that we focus on discovering your gift. Because there's no schooling, there's no training program, there's nothing out there that will give you the credentials that your gift will give you, or that your gift gives you. Because like you said, some people just don't have some people just don't have that thing. And when it comes to what we do, I truly believe that it's a gift, right? We can see what a space will look like before it's even, come together, before you even start the process, the design process. So I think it's truly a gift. And the question is always like, okay, how do you exercise that gift, right? Are you a great organizer? Are you a great mediator? Maybe you're great with working with husband and wives. Maybe you're great with, creating a luxury space on a budget, shopping and finding things, of value that have a very, luxurious appeal, but don't cost a lot, right? So there's so many things that people are gifted in. And I think that that's so important to lead with. And then you can always get the education to support that gift, right? You can always go and get a certificate or whatever it is that makes you feel comfortable.
Right.
And at least, I think it is important to get that basic understanding and knowledge of interior design or interior decorating, right? But nobody can give you your gift. Nobody can take it away. So thank you for sharing that.
I don't even think Joanna Gaines has a degree of anything. Like, no disrespect, because she's fabulous, and I, watch her like a junkie. But I don't think that, she got her start with any kind of formal training outside of just what her eye tells her to do. So, and look at, there's tons of people. We're huge out there that are, so get out of our own heads.
Yeah.
Still working on that.
In the pudding, right. Exactly. Awesome. Okay. So one last thing I wanted to talk with you about and ask you is, now that you've gone through this experience and you're having success and you've taken the leap and you are, running your businesses, what would you say to someone who was in your shoes before you started the program? And what would you tell them? What would you say about this program? And just what advice would you give them?
I would tell them, anyone who's going through this process, is just to follow your gut, really. I mean, the feeling inside of you, if this is true for you and it's something you want to do, it's something that's probably been a bug in your gut for a long time, not just something that just fly by night came up and you think, okay, this is a good idea because everybody on TV is designing homes. This is something that has followed you through life in many, many ways, not just in home design. It's whatever your creative outlet is. So listen to that, I would say. This has been in my head for years since I was a kid. And there's so many reasons why I just tossed it off to the side. I'm not certified, or, nobody will take me serious, or people in my family don't start businesses, or, I'm not going to have guidance. But you seek guidance and you find it. And I would recommend anyone to join this program, because I didn't know there were coaching programs out there. Coaching programs are so big right now, and there's coaching for just about everything. And I was scrolling on LinkedIn and here comes Monique on, and I'm like, wait, what? There's coaching for interior decorating? And it was like in my face. It felt like that was the moment where it was like, okay, all of those, journal pages and dreams and thoughts and, feeling defeated when people tell you that you're not qualified, so you really can't pursue that type of work. And here was this like mirage that came up on a post that said, wow, I have to call this person because what does she mean you could do this in, 12 weeks and there's steps to follow? Inquire, always be curious to learn something. And if you're really gonna do it, because we could all jump and sign up for programs left and right and spend money on things and it doesn't stick and you're like, oh my God, I put money into that and it doesn't even work. If it's been gnawing at you for a long time and you find ways to do the activity just in your day-to-day life and it's a hobby and you want to figure out how to make it a business, it's worth pursuing and it's worth investing in yourself to understand, can I make this work? And sometimes it means that you have to find a new tribe to hang out with, because I'll say that it's easy to leave a dream on the wayside because most people don't go after a dream and let it manifest. So if you're trying to change the trajectory of things that you've done and things that historically your family or friends have done, you have to find new family, or, well, not family, they're your family, but you have to find new chosen family and friends who are from that same ilk, that same group that is going out there to go after something, because they're going to be able to support you in a way that your loved ones can't, not because they don't want to support you, but because it's something they've never done, so they don't know how to support you and give you guidance. So that was a big part of me doing this dream and finding you as a coach and investing in the private coaching, because I needed that to be able to believe in myself, to jump out and make this happen.
Oh, that's so good. There's so much goodness in what you just shared, especially that tribe. You're right. You have to surround yourself with a support system of people who are going where you want to go. And I always say, if you're the smartest person in your circle, something's wrong, right? You have to have, and it's funny, I talk about all the time that, I, even as a coach, I invest in other coaches to teach me, because, you always need to be a student and always need to be learning in order to grow. I just invested about, over $2,000 in a coaching program because I'm learning. I started learning trading, options trading, right? I know nothing about options trading. And so I found someone who knew everything about options trading. And I said, okay, I'm going to invest in their expertise and have them coach me, and so that I can get to a place where I know it. So yeah, that's just the way things work, and it's how you grow, it's how you advance, and it's how you have success, is getting the information that you need to have that success. So thank you for that. Thank you. That is so, so true. And thank you for your time. It's been a pleasure working with you, and one day soon, I'm going to come out to Tampa and we're going to have a drink. We're going to go out to lunch. We're going to do something so we can celebrate all of your successes. But thank you for being just consistent and diligent and committed to the program, and just showing up and going after your dreams. So it's been a pleasure. And please tell everyone where they can find you now, where they can connect with you.
And thank you for everything, this whole entire program. I definitely couldn't do it without your guidance and your support and encouragement and all of the coaching calls. And yes, Tampa is waiting. So whenever you're ready, you let me know. I can be found at my name, so MaelissaCoombs.com. And you can find me
your name is spelled a little different, right? Than normal.
It's spelled a little different. So MAELISACOOMBS.com. That is my design website. That is my Instagram handle. That is my Facebook handle as well. So yeah, reach out if you have questions. I'm happy to jump in and help promote this amazing program, which is just so worth it. Every bit of it is worth it. And if you want to be, part of a tribe, even outside of the designer, oh my God, why can't I think of it? The employee to designer private. I know there's the private group, but if you get past the private group and you want to kind of just friend as a designer and build relationships outside, I'm open to sharing the journey of trying to get everything up and running.
Yeah, awesome. That's awesome. Yes, because we need that. We need to support each other and, share. Right? There's enough to go around for everybody. I believe that, truly believe that.
Exactly.
So, awesome. Well, thank you, Melissa. It's a pleasure. I know we've got some stuff to talk about today before we hop off, but thank you again for your time. And you guys check her out. She is coming strong. And if you live in Florida, the Tampa area, and you're looking for a home or looking for help with decorating or designing your home, she's your lady. All right. So have a good one, and we will see you guys soon.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.